Jonas, hi. So you've written us a set of essays. Great. Let's take a look at what you did here, shall we? Okay, schools, entertaining or just educational? Let's see what you said. Education is of great importance to every human being in today's modern society. Whereas some people debate that schools have to be entertaining, I would argue that schools should focus on the quality of education and passing knowledge on to younger generations. Okay, so then from that I assume you mean that they should be only educational. Because when you say something like quality of education, it could be considered that education also provides quality education. So just be careful with the way you phrased it. Moving on. Firstly, well-educated people are more likely to get a reputable and generously paid job. Recent research by Harvard Business School confirms that by stating that 95% of students graduating from the top 10 universities in the United States successfully acquire a job in 10 months. This should be within 12 months of graduation, whereas it is advantageous if the educational process is entertaining. Assuring the highest possible quality of education should be the top priority. Okay, let's move on. Secondly, schooling institutions play a key role in community knowledge. With the increasingly widespread use of smart mobile devices, it is becoming more complicated to convince youngsters of the importance to study. They believe that knowledge is readily accessible with the help of devices, not the, and learning is not that important anymore. While this may help to solve specific problems, such beliefs with an FS and unwillingness to study results in lower general knowledge of the population and increases the knowledge gap among generations. Therefore, it is important that schools not only focus on the quality of the curriculum, but also influence youngsters to study by addressing the importance of knowledge for their future lives. Okay, this felt really off topic. I'm not going to lie to you. This was fine, but I don't think this really supported what the task wanted you to support. Basically, they were saying there are two schools of thought: entertaining schools that teach through entertainment, or just solely educational schools, okay? And when I say teach through entertainment, it could be that, or it could also be, so you have a serious academic lesson, and then there's also something entertaining. You have a serious academic lesson, and there's also entertainment. So how you interpret this is really up to you. But the other side is just education and nothing else, okay? So you talked about it quite successfully here. That was fine, no problems. But this was a little off topic. I mean, it doesn't deal with either of these. What you could have done here is talked about, how it is important to have entertainment, about how, yeah, you know, when students have breaks, it allows them to come back to their lessons with a fresh mind and a fresh eye so that they can receive information in a better way. Or you could talk about how there is a whole school of thought about how lessons are retained better by students if the material is presented to them in an entertaining fashion. And so entertainment should be part of the curriculum for all of those reasons. That was another way you could have developed it. Another thing you could have talked about here is, rather than talking about this, what would have felt more relevant to me is if you had maybe talked about higher education and how competitive that is. And so really school is a grounds where students prepare themselves for university and for postgraduate education. So it's really important for students to learn how to study and how to better prepare themselves to pursue further knowledge in these difficult institutions. Okay, so, and then you could have said there's really no room in the curriculum for the luxury of entertainment. It really must be very focused in order to supply students with the information they need. Okay, so these are some ways you could have talked about this. All right, going on to your conclusion now. In conclusion, the significance of knowledge gained through education cannot be overstated. While it helps if the educational process is entertaining, it is important that legislators and educational institutions focus on improving the quality of education. It is predicted that the knowledge gap between generations will widen, so it is important to take action now. Okay, now this is interesting because you said it helps if the educational process is entertaining. Yeah, but you never mentioned that anywhere in your body paragraphs, and this is exactly what I was suggesting, that you should have talked about how and maybe why it's important to have entertaining education. Okay? In fact, since you didn't mention it at all in your body, I would suggest not including it anywhere in your conclusion. In your conclusion, you should never mention anything new. You should never talk about anything that you haven't really developed in your body paragraphs. So, this just gives me even more reason why you should have perhaps addressed the value of entertainment in education. Okay, so that's a little bit about task achievement. That for me was the weakest part of this essay, essentially because this felt off topic to me. Other than that, the essay is really well written. Grammar, vocabulary, coherence, and cohesion are all very well controlled, successfully executed, so great job. As far as the task achievement is concerned, I don't want you to get too concerned. It's your first set of essays, and so this happens really quite frequently. As our essay corrections continue, you will get a better feel for what's required and how you need to develop your essays. Okay, so with that, let's go on to your second essay. Okay, so here we talk about what can develop better skills, creativity, what can better develop skills and creativity, reading or some other activity. Let's see what you said. Creativity is acknowledged as an indispensable skill in today's modern society. Classically, avid book readers were thought to have the greatest creativity. However, I would argue that there are other activities that may have a more substantial effect on developing the aforementioned ability. The vocabulary here is wonderful. I enjoyed it. Look at this. Indispensable skill, avid book readers, substantial effect, aforementioned ability. Okay, really nice. Great. Combinations of words, collocations that are lovely to read and make this enjoyable. Moving on. Firstly, playing computer games on gaming consoles may be both entertaining and influential on creativity development. Some computer games feature richly decorated fantasy worlds, fast-paced action, and swiftly changing environments, which are great grounds for improving creative ability. How? Why? Tell me. Explain it. How are they great grounds? Okay? So when you say something like this, it's so loaded that you really need to express it a little further. Explain to me how you think that they are great grounds for improving creativity. What is more, computer games help develop other abilities such as problem solving, logical thinking, and concentration. For example, in computer games, one sometimes needs to make a split-second decision, which makes the brain quicker in real-life decisions too. Nice. So it helps with reflexes. Okay, therefore some gamers may not only be more creative than book enthusiasts, but also better in other skills. Okay, well done. Secondly, despite being entertaining, competing in sports, what does that mean? Competing in sports may also contribute to higher levels of creativity. Okay, in sports like chess, one must not only be tactical and be able to thoroughly assess possibilities, but also possess creativity to be able to stun competitors by unexpected moves. Furthermore, most sports are usually active and help youngsters develop physically. The young, who choose to participate in sports rather than read books, may not only be equally as creative, but also be more determined and lead a more active lifestyle. A recent study by Harvard Business School suggests that both creativity and determination will be the most rewarded skills in the job market in the coming decade. Lovely, lovely, lovely. In conclusion, there are many activities that contribute to the development of creativity, but playing computer games or participating in sports may be both entertaining and on par, no A here, with reading according to its impact on creative abilities. Okay, I really enjoyed this. I liked it. It was an easy read. It was an enjoyable read. You focus a little too much on creativity. There was a lot of talk about it. I wanted you also to, it should have been creativity and other skills, not just creativity, creativity, creativity. Look, creativity, creativity. So especially in the latter half of the essay, you focus a little too much. Look at this. Creativity. There it is. Okay? And then creativity. You also could have talked about how, okay, great, they lead a more active lifestyle. But what is the skill that they gain? Okay? Remember, we're talking about skills. So the second half of the essay, for me, focused a little too much on creativity. Here it was a little better balanced, so you focus both on creativity and these other skills. On the whole, though, I like this essay. There was that one sentence that I wanted you just to develop a little more. Where was it? Ah, this one here, great grounds for improving creativity. That's something I wanted you to extend, but other than that, it was a really well-written essay. I enjoyed it. You did a great job, especially for your first set of essays, so well done. So at this point, what do you have to do? The first thing you have to do is correct these essays based on my suggestions. As far as I can tell, there was almost nothing in terms of grammar and vocabulary. Those were all really well controlled. So what you have to work on, I think, is a little bit your task achievement and the development of some of these areas. That's a great place to be, okay? So good job. Go ahead and do that. Correct them and then create an error correction list where any errors you made that were pointed out to you, you have to write them down, and then next to each error you have to write down what the corrected version is. So go ahead and do that. The corrected essays, the error correction list, and then of course you'll have to write a new set of essays applying all the things that we've been talking about in this video correction. So that's 3 things you have to send back to us. Try to do them within the next day or so you can really apply everything you've been learning, okay? Good job. Great work, and I'm looking forward to your next set of essays, okay? So good luck to you.